Hello and welcome to the video. My name is Ryan and this is my mini review slash discussion for the Ian Fleming 007 book series. So today we're going to be having a discussion about Moonraker. So again, I'll start off just by showing you the actual hard book or hardback, whatever you want to call it, hardcover itself. And then on the inside, I really like what they've done with the actual the covers. I think they look really nice. I like the uniform nature of them. You can see them on the side where they all have the white top with 007, and then they're different colors, but they look really nice together. At least I think they do anyway. So yeah, so to start off with, Moonraker, I believe, is the Bond book that I've kind of forgotten the most, or at least after a first read. Because for one, I can't remember where the book is set. It's set somewhere in England. So basically, I'll go over the bits I remember first as like an overview of the story, and then we can go into a bit more detail from there. So from what I can remember, the book starts off with Bond at some point having a discussion with M, and M invites him to go to their local club called Blades, which I think is like an upper class sort of gambling, drinking club or gentleman's club, I guess. And the reason for this is because there's a man there named Drax who M believes is cheating at cards, and this man is like very rich, one of the richest men in the UK, if I remember correctly, in this world at the time. Oh, that might be Goldfinger, but he's very rich at any point. He's like a war hero, people love him, and M can't understand why he would be cheating at cards considering who he is and just everything that he has going for him. And then he believes if he's cheating at cards, he's probably cheating at other stuff as well. So they go to Blades together, confirm that he is in fact cheating, and then Bond gets put on the case to investigate the Moonraker facility, where obviously the Moonraker rocket, I guess, is being set up, and they'll have its first test firing, and Bond has to determine whether something is going, dodgy with it, or if it's all above board. Very different from the movie version of Moonraker, which is basically Bond crossed with Star Wars. You got Jaws, you got Bond going into space. You have the whole what would it be, kind of like the perfect human situation where like everyone on the ship is selected specifically by Drax to be the ideal person, basically. The only similarity with that in this is the fact that this book does actually have Nazis in it. All the people working at the facility are Nazis in disguise, or former Nazis, I suppose, at this point. But there's like an interesting thing when Bond goes in, he notices, I think they're all shaven. I can't remember. I'm not going to be able to find the page, I'm certain of it, but I'm sure they all have like a buzz cut and a mustache. And they all have that look, and Drax mentions that there is a specific reason for it. And I think it's just so they don't stand out too much, so they all just look so standard and basic that no one is really going to remember them all that much. And the book itself is split, is it 3 or is it 4? Yeah, so it's split into 3 sections. So you got part 1 and part 2 by here, and then on the back you have part 3, and the parts themselves are just different days. So you got Monday is part 1, Tuesday and Wednesday, sorry, is part 2, and then Thursday and Friday. So the book itself is set over 5 days. And like I say, I enjoyed the book, but it didn't stick with me as well as the other ones did. Like, I don't remember the Bond girl's name in this book. I remember the slight story of hers. I believe she works for Scotland Yard. She's also investigating, or she's on the Moonraker case. She I think she's with Bond when like the White Cliff, is it the White Cliffs of Dover? I'm sure this one has the Cliffs of Dover. One of them has like white cliffs, and a bomb goes off or something goes off, nearly kills Bond and this woman, and they are covered in white chalk. If it's not this one, got to be this one. I don't think it's Diamonds Are Forever. It's definitely not From Russia with Love. So it's got to be this one. But I did enjoy that this Bond is, I think it's the only one, or the only one so far, that's just set in England. Because the facility is somewhere in England. Like I say, it could be Dover. I don't remember. And none of the chapters say. Policewoman Brand, The Quickness of the Hand. Does anyone want to say where we are? A Golden Day. Yeah, see, so there's nothing telling us where we are. So I can't even remember where we are in this book, which I think is not great. But I liked the idea of Bond in this one being a lot more. It's a lot more low key. He's a lot more like espionage and doing spy work or intelligence work, and not just like running around as a sort of action hero with a gun. So I do really like that aspect of it, and him trying to piece it together, find clues, and figure out what on earth is going on here. There's certain incidents that happened in the story that help paint a picture and slowly build up to that whole Nazi thing, where one of the workers, I believe it was, killed someone and then like shouts Heil Hitler or something to that effect. Maybe he kills someone, then shouts it, or shouts it, then kills someone. So you already have the slight hint that there's at least a Nazi maybe here before he killed himself, or whatever happened to him. I don't recall what happens to him, but I do remember he shouts that. And then, like I say, it slowly builds up. Then when Bond finds out, sort of it all kicks off. There's a scene where he's like hiding in a vent sort of thing above the like in the upper part of the facility. All these men are trying to find him, like shooting up into these areas. And Bond is also nearly burning to death, because I believe the Moonraker rocket is starting to heat up at this point. And he's on like a very tight schedule to turn it off, get down from there, or burn to death, move too early and get shot to death. So he's, it's got some good stakes. It's far more low-key than the movie version. I do think this version is better than the movie version, though, for that reason. Just because I feel like the movie was a bit silly, really over the top, and just a bit too much. And as I mentioned in the Casino Royale version, movie book video, the Casino Royale video, I really enjoy the scenes where Bond is in like the casinos and he's doing the gambling and the smoking and the drinking, because these are things that I don't really do myself. I drink a little bit from time to time, very rarely, but I don't smoke or gamble. So it's like I get a sort of a bit of a kick from living through Bond in those moments, and he makes these things that I have no interest in seem really cool. So I really enjoy that aspect of it. And when he's like having to relearn or touch up his abilities to like cheat while playing cards, basically, to determine if Drax is cheating. I thought that was a really interesting thing as well, because they sort of explained the different ways people can cheat playing cards, by like marking the cards, or things like shaving certain bits down so cards are smaller, or doing other things to them so you can visually recognize a certain card, I believe is what they mentioned, or some of the things they mentioned in the book. So I really like that part. That's part one. So I thought part one was great. And then, like I say, when he goes to the facility and when he's just going around and trying to determine what on earth is going on here, I enjoyed that. It didn't stick with me as much. Like, I don't even remember what happens to Drax. I can't remember if he gets killed. I have no memory what happens to him. So I'll just leave it. But like I say, I think it's the Bond book that I remembered the least. But it did still earn an 8 out of 10 at the time. It might have to go down to like a 7.5 now in retrospect, because of how much of it I can actually remember at this moment, about 6 or 7 months after I read it. So it has been a while, but you know, it still has to be taken into consideration. So once I've reviewed all of the books, I'm going to do a video where I have my reviews. Not so well, I'll probably put them all into one big video together as well. But I'm also going to be doing a ranking where I will be showing you all the Bond books in order of how I would rank them personally. But yeah, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed. Let me know if you are planning to read Moonraker yourself, or if you have read it, what you thought of it. And remind me of some of the things I forgot, because like I say, for the life of me, I cannot remember this one. And I want these videos to be like as authentic as I can be with them. I don't want to go looking online and refresh my memory on everything, because I think that defeats a first impressions discussion. It would be more fair if I'd done it closer to when I read it, but you know, I didn't get this idea to do this until now, and I'm just really enjoying the idea of talking about the Bond books a bit. So yeah, thank you and take care.